The internet is full of these kind of statements. Travel changed my life. Traveling made me a completely different person. Traveling made me look at things differently. Or even travel made me a minimalist. But is it true? Does travel really change people? Can travel or solo travel really change your life? It did change mine, and it definitely changed me. It changed the way I look at money, changed the way I perceive the value and purpose of money, and it did make me a minimalist. So in this video, in this episode of The Timeless Traveler, I will tell you how. Let's go. I used to have a wardrobe full of clothes and shoes that I would hardly wear. I used to travel with a big ass suitcase with outfit not only for each day, for each occasion. I would pack an outfit for the daytime, for the evening, for each of the days I traveled, and then some. Just in case, because you need to be prepared. I used to buy things to wear them once or use them once and never use them again. I did have clothes in my wardrobe still with the tags on. I would have shoes that I bought because I liked them, but I would never wear them because they were not comfortable or they would just not go with anything that I have. So why did I do this? Why so many of us do that? Because I know we do. I'm guilty of it, and some of you are guilty of this too, I'm sure. For me, the answer is pretty simple, actually. I grew up with the scarcity mindset. As a child or growing up, we never really had too much money. If anything, there were times throughout my life when we actually scrambled to make ends meet. And I grew up like this. I grew up thinking and being told that money is hard to get, that there is not too much of it, and that there's many things that we just cannot afford. We never went on vacation, we never went to the restaurant, but I need to give you a little bit of a background here as well. I was born in Poland when Poland was still a communist country. When I was a child, nobody was going on vacations, and you could not even go on vacations abroad. People had roughly the same amount of things, and often there were not many of those things. But then the world changed in front of me, my country changed in front of my eyes, but we still didn't have money for many life reasons, but we never really did. And I was envious, I was jealous maybe of those of my friends in school that maybe had better clothes and had money for makeup, or even they were going on a vacation. I could never do that. But then things changed. I made a decision at the age of 25 to leave my country, and I immigrated to UK, to England. Things were not perfect from the start. There would be a lot to say about that, but eventually I managed to make my life better. This is the reason why I left. I just wanted to make my life better, and maybe hopefully also those around me. So suddenly I found myself 3 years later with more money than I could have ever imagined I would have. It wasn't some crazy amount of money. I was working in a restaurant, but those were good times. I was sharing a house with friends. I was earning really good tips. It was back then when people were very generous. So I found myself having a lot of money. So what happened? In a situation like this, when people grew up without money and then suddenly they make money, it can go two ways. Some people just stick to that scarcity mindset and they never really feel comfortable with spending. They save every little penny and they just go through their life this way. Some others go completely opposite way, and guess what? I was the latter. I was the latter. I literally started spending all my money. It was the time when I finally could afford the car. It was the time when I finally could afford to go on vacation. I was 28, if I remember well, when I actually went on my first vacation that was fully paid by me, a grown-up vacation. But it didn't stop there. I spent money on so many stupid things. I would buy things just because I could. I would buy clothes because I could. I would buy Italian shoes because I thought that if I buy Italian shoes, now I'm rich. The truth is that I never worn these shoes because they were just so uncomfortable. They were not me. They didn't go with anything that I had. And don't ask me how much I spent on those shoes because I actually bought them when I visited Poland. When my sister saw me just, like that, buying those shoes, she could not believe it. And it was just such a stupid thing to do. But I would do so many of these things. Eventually, I would fall into this whole spending trap. And yes, I ended up having a credit card and I ended up spending money on that credit card. I bought myself a car, I took loans, and the life. The life that we are being thrown into, the spending money life. So I fell into this trap of spending money, of taking credit cards, taking loans, and buying things, thinking that this is going to make me happy. I became the prisoner of this system, this financial system that is supposed to keep us broke, yet kind of hopeful at the same time. And this went for years. I was living this type of life for years, and guess what? I saved nothing apart from the car that I bought, and I had nothing to my name. I had no savings. I never even considered saving to buy a house or buy a flat or save money for the deposit, investing. I was completely financially illiterate. They don't teach us this at school. And they definitely didn't teach me this in school when I was little. But even then, when I already went to high school, I went to university and I studied management and marketing. Did they teach us about saving, investing? And no, they just taught us some stupidness that is completely irrelevant to everyday life. For me, money, like for many of us, money was something that's supposed to make us look good, feel good, make us successful, and maybe even make us happy. So like I said, I was living this type of life for many years. My wealth changed in certain periods of my life because of different decisions I've made. It went up and down many times. But eventually I ended up getting a well-paid corporate job, which paid me really well. And I also was receiving quite good bonuses, yearly bonuses, quarterly bonuses. And what did I do? Guess, I spend it all. And this mindset, this spending mindset, showed in many areas of my life. If you open my wardrobe, you would see it there. If you walked into my kitchen, you would see it there. I would buy equipment for the kitchen. I like cooking, but I would buy some stuff for the kitchen or for the house that maybe I used once or twice. And then it was just sitting there. And in the meantime, I also moved countries a couple of times. So every single time I was moving countries, I would realize how much junk I have, how much stuff I have. I would end up selling it or giving it away. But guess what? I would move to that other country and I would be buying things again. I was in this buying trap, thinking that this is something that makes me, successful, happy. And then every time I would go on vacation or every time I would go on holiday, because I wasn't a traveler back then, I would just go on vacation. I would pack this big ass suitcase, like I said earlier, with outfit for every day, for every occasion, and then some. You can imagine the size of the suitcase I would take with me for 1 week vacation in Portugal. I remember that suitcase. I can't believe I've actually done it. I was thinking, this is the right way, and I am cool like this now. Then, long story short, in the beginning of 2020, I decided to become a travel blogger. This is a completely different story, but I decided to become a travel blogger. It was February 2020, and after traveling to many, many places on short trips, I've decided I'm going to book 2 weeks trip to Thailand. It was a trip of my dreams. I was planning it for 6 months. I could not wait. It was a dream come true for me that I could afford, that I could do that I could go across the other side of the world and to Asia. It was unimaginable for me. Long story short, this trip didn't happen, and it didn't happen for some really strange reasons. I had some issues with my passport. Long story short, they turned me away from the airport. I was devastated. It's crazy story. If you want me to make a video about that, I will, but I'm not going to go into detail right now. But anyway, I was turned away. I lost a lot of money because I booked a lot of my accommodation without the free cancellation to save money. I also pre-booked a lot of my travel and a lot of my sleeper trains and flights and all of that. But now, in hindsight, when I'm thinking about it, it was the best thing for 2 reasons. One, because of the things that I was planning to take. I had a suitcase, a yellow suitcase. I'll show you the suitcase. Wait a moment. This was the suitcase. Although maybe it's not the largest suitcase ever, but it also is expandable. So when you use the expandable feature, this suitcase is massive. On top of that, if you thought that this was the only luggage I wanted to take, you're wrong. On top of that, I had this massive duffel bag. It's like 40 liters duffel bag. You could carry it on the back, but still it was a duffel bag. So I would be traveling with this suitcase and the duffel bag, changing locations every 2-3 days across Thailand. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, obviously I was not thinking. So now when I'm thinking about it, it is so lucky that I didn't go, because it would be a disaster. And the second reason why probably it's a good thing it didn't happen is because 3 weeks later, another disaster happened. The whole world went into the standstill and the world global pandemic happened. So, things happen for a reason, but I've awakened that dream inside of me, the dream that I didn't even know existed, but when it came up to the surface, I realized that this is the thing that I want. Maybe obviously the world circumstances didn't help. I mean, helped, but I became obsessed, and I decided that when this whole thing finished, I'm gonna quit my job and become a travel blogger and travel the world. So I researched like crazy. I obsessively watched all the YouTube videos and I read all the blog posts and everything. And I realized I've learned a crazy thing. I've learned that you can travel the world with one backpack. This was revolutionary for me. I didn't even know that people do that. Just one backpack. Imagine that on your back, traveling comfortably with few things. So this became my new obsession, and for the next year, I just researched backpacks, types of backpacks, because I didn't know what backpack I want to buy. Once I finally decided on a backpack, then I just researched what to pack, what to take, how to pack. It just became my obsession. And in the meantime, another thing happened. As this dream of becoming a traveler grew and grew in me, I started saving money. I've decided that I'm going to give myself 1 year to save as much as possible. So after that, I can quit my job and go traveling. I didn't know that I am able to save so much. I didn't know. I mean, the times helped because we were not going anywhere and we were not buying anything. So obviously that year really helped. But a new door opened for me. The new reality just opened in front of my eyes. I also realized that having money saved, that having enough money on the side to live for a year or maybe a year and a half without working, it gave me such a sense of freedom. I could not shake it off. So I saved the money. A year passed. February 2021, I quit my job and I went. But this first journey didn't start so smoothly, and my eyes were opened even more within the first month, because I traveled with the Osprey 55 liters with detachable backpack, which I actually kept attached to it. And on top of that, I had the North Face 28-liter backpack, which I was carrying at the front. It was horrendous. I realized around 2 weeks into my travel, when I was already in Madeira, I realized that I can't travel like this. The bag at the front was so large with the big backpack at the back. I could not travel. I will never forget the day when I was trying to get on a bus, the regular bus that was taking me from Funchal to Machico in Madeira, and the bus driver was looking at me like I'm crazy because I could not get into the bus because I could not see the steps because of the bag in front of me, and I had to help myself to get into it. And then I decided, no, we can't do that. So I listed the North Face bag on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. I sold it within 2-3 days, and I just left a lot of things behind in a hostel for the staff or for them to put up as clothes. They were perfectly fine clothes, so I just left them behind. And I went down to this one Osprey, which is still 55 liters, together with the front backpack, but instead of 3 backpacks, now I had 2 backpacks. And I traveled like this for the rest of the whole trip, which was 8 months altogether. And it was amazing. I realized that we don't need that many things. I traveled with 3 packing cubes because I traveled through different climates. I had 1 packing cube with winter clothes, like colder weather clothes. I had 1 packing cube with summer clothes, like beach clothes and stuff like that, and 1 like kind of in between, and 3 pairs of shoes. I traveled with 3 pairs of shoes, and I never missed any shoes. I never felt like I'm missing this additional dress or additional pairs of shoes. Never. I realized that we truly don't need things to be happy. It doesn't matter how many things you buy or you have. You will never replace the sense of purpose. It will never replace the sense of going after your dream, knowing what that dream is, and going after this. This like, you know what they say, this pursuit of happiness. It's not the happiness that's at the end of the pursuit. What makes us happy is the pursuit itself that makes us happy. This whole journey, this whole travel became a road and a destination at the same time. It's crazy. So as I returned, I applied exactly the same principles in my everyday life while I was stationary and while I'm stationary at the moment for now. And I apply them very naturally. I don't actually have to tell myself to do this. I apply them very, very naturally for 2 main reasons. One, like I said, I realized that I don't need things to fill the gaps in my life. I realized that I was buying things to fill in those gaps. So this realization made me not want to get more things because I know that this is not what I really want. I don't really want to buy more decoration for my house. I want to save money so I can go on traveling. That's what I really want. Or I want to save more money so I can invest in my online business. This is what I really want. And the second reason why I still don't really buy many things is because I don't know when I'm going to set off again. I don't know when I'm going to go travel again. I don't know when I'm going to move to another country again. I want to be ready. And the things that I have, I want to have enough so I live comfortable life, and not too many, just so I can pack it up and go. And the things that I buy with this in mind. So here we come to the things that I stopped doing because of the travel, because of how the travel changed me. First of all, I don't buy clothes or shoes or bags or anything that I'm not going to use or that I'm not going to use enough. Whenever I go to the shop, I pick up the piece of clothing. If I need to buy some, I ask myself a set of questions. How often am I going to wear it? If I know I will be wearing it at least once a week or once every 10 days, that's a pass. Does it go with other things that I have? I used to buy things that they would not go with anything that I have, and they would just be sitting there, not being used. How many things from my wardrobe, existing wardrobe, would actually go with the thing that I'm buying? Is it comfortable? Is it lightweight and packable? Most of the time. Doesn't need ironing. That's self-explanatory because I hate ironing. And if I decided to leave now, is this a piece of clothing that I would consider taking with me, and would it pack lightly? Basically. Almost every single piece of clothing that I'm buying, I'm considering that this could be something that I would take with me traveling. Unless it's a winter coat or winter boots or anything like that. But with things like that, I just leave them at my mom's for when I visit, if it's cold and I have something to wear. So, but basically almost all my clothes, almost all my shoes, bags, backpacks, everything that I buy, that I wear, go through this process. Not only that, I do the same thing with things that I buy for the house or for anything else. I wanted to decorate the flat, make it a little bit more cozy, but then I'm thinking, I don't even know how long I'm going to stay here. Again, I'm gonna end up with things that I will have to give away. Even if I sell it, I'll still be losing money. This is the money that I can spend on saving or on investing instead. Because this is not my house and I don't know how long I'm going to stay here. So I've decided not to decorate. I have very, very basic things, just things that I need. I wanted to buy some equipment for my kitchen because the kitchen is not excellently equipped. But I decided I didn't. I only bought a very good pan because I do cook and I needed one very good pan. I bought a kettle because heating up water for coffee on an electric cooker was taking too long and taking much more electricity. So kettle is cheaper. And really, if I think about it, that's it. So I apply this to everything that I purchase these days. And it maybe sounds like a hard work, and it maybe sounds like I'm being really harsh on myself, but I have priorities, and my priorities are not buying flashy designer or just things to fulfill the lack of things in my life. My priorities are my dreams, and the more money I have put on the side, the more money I invest in those dreams, the more likely I'm going to fulfill them. There's few more things that I stopped doing completely. Like, I don't buy any souvenirs, first of all, because if I travel, I always travel for a few months at a time. So I'm not going to be dragging souvenirs with me. If I do, those need to be super practical. Almost something that I'm going to use throughout my travels. Like, I got a really nice pashmina, but I use the pashmina during the travel as a pashmina or as a towel, or basically, as a shawl or something like that. Or maybe once I bought super cute chopsticks in Malaysia, but because I love chopsticks and I actually use them a lot and they don't take any space in the bag. Other than that, I just don't buy souvenirs. I also don't stay in resorts. I don't stay in 5-star, 4-star hotels. Not only because I cannot afford it, but even if I could, I wouldn't. For me, spending so much money on a hotel and on the food that you're gonna eat in the hotel, it's just money down the drain. I would so much rather spend this money on experiences, on great trips, on things on traveling for longer. The money that I would save by not staying in these places, I can travel for maybe even another month or another 2 months. And on top of that, you don't really experience the place when you stay in an all-inclusive resort or hotel, unless you just want to stay by the pool on a lounger with cocktail in your hand. If that's the only thing you want, then that's fine. But if you want to travel, if you're a traveler, you're not going to learn anything about the place by staying in the resort. So apart from the things that I stopped doing, there's one main thing that I started doing or became a very, very big priority for me since I started traveling. That is making sure that I have money saved, and even more trying to invest. Because now I see money as a tool. I don't see money as a way to make myself happy. I see money as a tool for me to be able to create this happiness for myself. Because if you live your life paycheck to paycheck and you just live your life to pay the rent, pay your bills, and just survive the month, this is not freedom. This is prison. This is prison of this system that's been designed to keep us broke, keep us in debt. My goal is to make enough money so I can be free, so I can feel financial independence and location independence. So I can decide what I want to do with my life, where I want to be, how my day is supposed to look. I know that it sounds like an illusion for a lot of people, and I'm sure someone will say, you're just dreaming, like this is not the way most of people live their lives, and that's fine. Everybody will live their life as they want, but I don't want to live my life like this. I disagree. I don't want to be working my ass off for somebody else to get rich and wait maybe for the retirement day when maybe I'm strong or healthy enough to enjoy the rest of my life. Money can imprison you if you treat it like a way to improve your status or look better or seem happier. When you look at money this way, you imprison yourself. But money is freedom if you decide to choose it as a tool to create freedom for yourself. And this mindset has been born in my head and in my soul, purely because I've decided to leave all these things behind. It's a little bit like a rehab. You have to leave this thing behind. You have to get it out of your system to realize that you didn't need it in the first place and it wasn't even making you happy. And trust me, I know it's not easy. I know it's hard because my current circumstances are proof to that. I've been trying for many years, and many times I've almost given up, but I just cannot give up on this dream. And you would ask what this has to do with me solo traveling or quitting my job to travel solo for a few months at a time. If I didn't go traveling, if I didn't quit my job that day, if I didn't go traveling, I don't know how my life would be. Maybe I would have more money now. Maybe I would have my own house. Maybe I would have a car. Maybe I would have a loan. Nobody knows. But I know I wouldn't be the person that I am right now. And I like this person right now much better than the person that I was before. And this is the reason why I do so many things, why I have my blog, why I do some side hustles, why I have this YouTube channel as well. For me, not buying the things, the designer things, the paying for 5-star hotels or getting the latest gadgets is my way of saying, I don't want your things, I want my freedom. And this would never happen if I didn't go traveling that day. I felt the happiest when I was sleeping in a hammock somewhere on the desert in Colombia. The happiest when I was in a top bunk, even though I hate top bunks, somewhere in a hostel in Mexico. I felt the happiest when I had the glimpse of how it feels to work for yourself, to be your own boss. If it's bad, if it's good, I'll leave you to decide and make your own mind and decide whether I'm delusional or whether you agree with me. But I know that I will not stop until I make this dream come true. I will see you in the next one. Bye now.